right, let's kick it off, all right? Um, in the quick brief, we were talking about cultural norms and social norms. Does anyone know what those are? Let me give a quick thing. So it's expectations of behavior or rules of behavior
Okay.
and thoughts based on shared beliefs within certain groups. So it doesn't necessarily mean just, race, but it could be anything where you have a group of people that come together and have the same beliefs or share the same ideas within those groups. Everyone got that? Alright. So, what are some things that uh, youths and citizens can do better to understand police officers? What would you think?
I think we should just set up a public speaking about it.
Public speaking?
Good morning. Roger.
I'll say just talk to him.
Just talk to them.
Yeah, get to know him.
Right. Communication. It's big, right? That's what we're doing here today, right? We're talking. How would you like to see police officers communicate with citizens and or youths?
I mean, you're here now, so we should start doing this more
Okay.
in different schools.
More communication and not just jumping to conclusions.
More communication, not just okay. Not jumping to conclusions.
I got the same answer as her.
Same answer? Well, it's a good answer. Yeah, I would say communications, yeah, probably key, to understanding the issues that we're all having, and obviously, we don't want to jump to conclusions because that's how things get blown out of proportion. So, what are some ways that the citizens or youths can communicate in a more positive fashion with police officers? Just some ideas of what you think yourselves could do to make things better with officers. You know, when you see them out or when you're talking to them. Go this way.
I'll say set up plans or like do more things like this.
More things like this.
the
More other
projects and
other
stuff.
events.
Yeah.
But like what Pal pretty much does, right?
Yeah.
Look like you
Well,
want
then you can
something.
talk. We don't care. I wouldn't say
Nothing?
we don't care.
No? Is everyone pretty much in agreement on that one?
Yeah.
Just more events like this? Does effective communication change based on other factors?
Yeah.
Okay, you jumped right on that one. I didn't even get to the example. So would it change between race and gender, age, location? What would be a situation where that might be?
I say just the judge. It's just judge. Just as your judge.
Judging?
Yeah.
And I would kind of touch back on that implicit bias conversation we had. And basically it was the same thing. How do we avoid getting into that bias? Right? Because we all have biases, right? So to avoid that is obviously we not jump into conclusions. Don't automatically think that someone's suspicious because you might think they're out of place. Right? Um, do we have those incidents in regards to like older people? Do you guys ever think that that When you see some of the guys that are balling, and these guys hook up and you go to ball and you think you got them because they're 40 years old.
Nah, I don't
No?
see it.
No?
Not at all.
No? Is that because they usually beat you, or?
Nah, nah.
Anyone else?
Nah, I'm only saying that because I make sure our grandpa or whatever, they stay work, or we usually go out for a jog just to keep them fit.
Right. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be about just, being athletic or moving. Anything else? What about a location where an incident might be happening? Do you think that would change the way to communicate? Like something's going on, say, at school or at home or out on the street or in a restaurant. Would that change things?
The streets? Yeah. Kind of, yeah.
Okay, so what are some things that can happen when there is not effective communication between citizens and officers?
That's how a protest starts and stuff like that.
Protest? Because what? An incident occurred because of
I say more violence.
more violence?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can definitely say things can escalate. Obviously, as a society, we don't want to escalate. We should all, I mean, it's hard. I mean, because usually when you're calling the officers to come out, you're usually calling because you are having your worst day or something bad is going on, and they're showing up, and they're showing up to a chaotic scene or whatever else might be happening. But how do we get to that communication without things taking off? Any ideas?
Like you give me an example of this? I don't get it.
All right. So, for instance, I showed up to a domestic call, and you see a gentleman beating down on another guy. Now, call came out as a fight or whatever have you, and you show up. Come to find out, we're rushing in, so and talking's not going to work, right?
Right.
You got a guy on top of someone, so you're going to have to go hands-on and try and separate the two.
Would you say like hands on, like you arrest that person right then and there, or
No,
just remove
no,
them
no.
from that person
But-
away?
But when you're pulling up on the scene and you see that what's going on, what is your
Right, of course
first?
you want
What is your first?
to separate, right?
Right, separate. Now, would you think that guy that is beating down on that other guy is the aggressor?
Not necessarily.
Right. So in order to get to that, you have to calm things down, but
Sit down.
you have to escalate before you get there to break them up.
Right.
And then once you get it down, then you de-escalate and work your way down, try and figure it out. And turns out in that incident, he was defending someone else that this guy was beating up on prior to. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So obviously the right person went to jail, but you can't always jump to conclusions on that, right? So, but you have to get a point to where you can communicate before that. Sometimes, that doesn't happen. So, what are some of your cultural norms? So, the groups within school or your friends outside of school, or what are the things that you guys may believe in that keep you in your maybe little clique, Colin?
What, like, just stay out of trouble type?
No, not necessarily. Just
Keep you like having the latest iPhone.
yeah. I mean,
I really want to say I got one.
who's your favorite football team? Okay, it's probably a pretty big click, right? Right. What about someone else? Someone else like someone that's not so good right now? No. But within that, so now within that culture, what would you consider normal? I mean, have you jumped through any tables? But for the most part, those mafia, when they're doing it, that'd be a normal thing, right? Right, jump through tables. So that would be an idea of what we're talking about. Things that groups of people will believe in or talk about or do, because that
Go back
is
to what you said in different pants.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. It's just, I mean, you have a group of friends that all have the same interest in purses or whatever, and then you have another group that might have a different idea of what that would be. Is it with it? I mean, it seems simplistic, but it's still a different cultural norm, because you may actually have a stronger belief in regards to, that being said. You may actually not like that person because they like, something else. So, and that's what we're talking about.